Good evening and welcome to today's session. I, Pranan Patil. Good evening and welcome to today's session. I, Pranan Patil, welcome you to today's session on data analytics and visualization tools like Power BI, Tableau, Apache Superset, Google Looker, Excel, SQL, and Python. I, Pranan Patil, work as software engineer at ABC Trainings and welcome you to today's webinar on data analytics and visualization tools. Okay, in today's webinar, I will make you familiar with data analytic tools like Power BI, Excel, Python, SQL, Google Looker, Apache Superset, and Tableau. Okay. So, welcome to today's webinar on essential data analytics and visualization tools. The objective of today's webinar is to understand the landscape of tools that helps businesses make informed decisions, and these tools are crucial in turning raw data into visual stories that drive impact and innovation across industries. Now, firstly, let me make you familiar with what is data analytics and visualization. Data analytics involves processing data to discover trends, patterns, and actionable insights. Data visualization makes this data easier to interpret through charts, graphs, and dashboards. Real world value in healthcare, or let me give you one real world example of data analytics and visualization. In healthcare, it predicts patients' readmissions. In retail, it helps manage inventory and forecast demand. In finance, it helps identify fraud. Now, what is data analytics? Data analytics means what? That, for example, consider if you have a data set, or for example, consider if you have a data set related to a company revenue, Using that data set, you can perform multiple operations. That is, you can perform data cleaning. You can perform cleaning operation on that, or for example, using two columns, you can create a third column, or in a data set there are multiple columns. Each column is known as feature. Okay, so based on two features, you can create a new one, or you can clean the data set, or the data set which you have, you can visualize it also. For example, if consider you have a company revenue data set, or a data set of a company revenue which includes company's revenue of last 5 years, On the basis of that, what you can do, that you can predict the company revenue of that company for next 5 years. Okay. For example, consider if you have a data set which contains company revenue of last 5 years, that company's revenue of last 5 years on various factors like employee attrition, or like total years income, then supply, or you can say sales, purchase. For example, consider a data set in which you have a company's revenue of previous 5 years, which is based on factors like employee attrition, sales, purchase, then companies like manufacturing cost, or like products sold in last 5 years. On the basis of these data sets, on the basis of these features, or company's last 5 years revenue, then sales of last 5 years, purchase in last 5 years. Okay, how manufacturing cost has differed in last 5 years. On the basis of all these features, you can predict that company's revenue for the next 5 years using data analytics. Okay, or you can also visualize that data. That is let me tell you guys that today in MNCs or in industry when data like for example last 5 years income of or last company's revenue of last 5 years or employee attrition rate or manufacturing cost that has increased or decreased in the last 5 years. Okay, or project, or for example consider if any company is working on any project and they are planning that how many years or how many months it will take to complete that project. All these things are first analyzed. Using data analytics, and all these things are predicted using data analytics. That is data is been collected depending on various factors. And after that that data is been visualized. And presented. Since if you present that data in the table format, it is very difficult for anyone to understand that what's means where the company needs areas of improvement, or which are the areas of improvement that company needs, or which are the areas where company is excelling. Okay, so instead of presenting that data in table format, it's better that you visualize that data and present it in form of charts, graphs, or histogram, or you can say correlation heat map, or pie chart, or bar graph, or scatter plot. There are various data visualization options available, and data visualization options are mostly used in MNCs or multinational companies while presentations, so that each and everyone understands that in which areas the company needs, in which are the areas of improvement where which company needs, and which are the areas where the company is excelling, and on basis of this they decide what actions to take or what improvements to do for the upcoming years, or for example for the upcoming next 5 years. Okay, next one. Now the first data analytics tool is Power BI. Okay, Power BI, Microsoft tool offering real-time dashboards and seamless integration with Excel and Azure, helps non-technical users build rich visualizations easily. Widely adopted in finance, sales, HR, and supply chain functions. And job roles available after completing Power BI course are Power BI developer, BI analyst, report developer. Now let me tell you, many of you may not be knowing that Power BI is the advanced version of Excel. Okay, Power BI is the advanced version of Excel. That is, now what do you mean by advanced version? That is Power BI contains all the features and points, or Power BI contains all the features and functions that Excel contains, that Excel has, plus it has its own features and functions. Okay, now what is meaning of advanced version of Excel? That is Power BI not only contains all the functions and features of Excel, but it also has its own features and functions. Okay, now the main focus of Power BI is on data visualization. It is on data visualization. That is companies which work in finance sector, sales sector, or HR and supply chain functions, or companies whose working is related to sales and purchase. We can say that companies whose working is related to sales and purchase. They use Power BI widely to predict data. Instead of saying that to predict data, we can say that to represent data in data visualization format. Like they can predict, for example, they can predict data like manufacturing cost that has been increasing or decreasing since last 5 years. Then manpower that has been increasing or decreasing since last 5 years. After that, they also predict employee attrition rate. They are also predict employee attrition rate. Employee attrition rate means how many employees are still working and how many employees have left in the last 5 years. After that, they can also predict the sales or purchase for the next 5 years on the basis of data of previous 5 years. And also what they do that while presentations or while calculating company's annual revenue, the data is presented using data visualization like bar graph, histogram, pie chart, pivot table, or correlation heat map, scatter plot, decision trees, etc. Okay, all these are data visualization options that are used to visualize data. Also using Power BI, you can perform cleaning operations on data set. You can combine two features to create a new one. You can drop a single column or add a new column, or on the basis of that data you can predict, like for example, if you have climate data or weather data of last 2 days. If you have climate data or weather data of last 2 days, on the basis of that you can predict the climate of next 2 days. On the basis of that you can predict the climate of next 2 days. And for example, climate data depends on factors like wind velocity, temperature, humidity. Then for example, they calculate temperature at 3 different stages of the day, like temperature at morning 9 a.m., temperature at 3 p.m., then temperature at 6 p.m. All this, on the basis of all these factors, you can also predict weather forecasting data. And after completing Power BI course, you can apply in MNCs for roles like Power BI developer, BI analyst, and report developer. And let me tell you, Power BI is also one of the latest industry trends and in demand because today nobody has time to look at the data which is in table format. That is they feel the data is very lengthy, or after looking at that data they feel it is very messy or it's very complicated, and nobody today has time to sort it out in their own way. But instead what they do, that is visualize that data, and on basis of that they analyze it, and on basis of that they analyze it, and after that either they do prediction or come to a conclusion or whatever their requirement is. But in today's world no one uses tables like previously, like before some years what we used to do, that write all the data, that is note all the data or write all the data in the files or in the notebooks. But today no one uses notebooks or files to maintain data. Everyone use Microsoft Excel, or for example Microsoft PowerPoint or SQL to maintain data. In today's world, nobody manually writes the data or nobody manually stores the data. In today's world, everyone uses Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, or Microsoft PowerPoint to present the data. But today nobody manually writes the data. In the same way, today nobody sees the data in table format. What they do is visualize the data. Or what they do, that if you have a data set, they consider some features from that, and on the basis of that features they do prediction or come to a conclusion, or on the basis of that they also decide that which are the areas of the improvement, or which are the areas where company is excelling, or why, for example, why employee attrition rate is increasing, where the company needs to improve, or there may be several factors. Now the next is Tableau. Okay, the next is Tableau. Tableau contains powerful visualization capabilities and user-friendly drag and drop interface, ideal for storytelling with data with deep drill downs and interactive dashboards, common in marketing, sales and executive dashboards. Use case: analyze customer acquisition channels, campaign ROI. Job roles are Tableau developer, data visualization specialist, business analyst. Now the next one is Tableau. It is also used for data analysis. And it has a user-friendly drag and drop interface. That is in Tableau, what you can do, that is drag your data, may it be in any format, may it be in text format, may it be in Excel format, may it be in CSV format, or may it be in any other format. What you can do, that is simply drag the data and drop in that software, and on that data you can perform several operations like cleaning, or input and output operations like combining two features and creating a new one, or dropping existing features which are not required and then adding some new features which are required but are not present in that, or visualizing the data. And it is ideal for storytelling with data with deep drill downs and interactive dashboards. That is companies whose major focus is on sales and purchase. They use interactive dashboards to predict a month's data or a year's data, or they represent a year's or a month's data using dashboards, and on the basis of that they decide what are the areas of improvement or where the company is excelling. Now Tableau is commonly used in marketing, sales and executive dashboards. Executive dashboards means those dashboards which are used in supply and demand, like for example, where manufacturing cost is there, inventory management is there, etc. Okay, and use cases are like analyze customer acquisition channels, campaign ROI. Now after completing Tableau, you can means in companies you can apply for specific roles like Tableau developer, data visualization specialist, business analyst, etc. Now the next one is Apache Superset. It is open source and customizable, suitable for data engineering and big data projects. It is designed for real-time exploration over massive data sets using Presto, Hive, etc. It is especially useful in startups or organizations favoring open source stacks. And after learning Apache Superset, you can apply for specific jobs like data engineer, BI developer, open source, analytics engineer. Now Apache Superset is open source. Open source technology. Okay, open source technology or an open source data visualization tool. Meaning of that is that open source means it is freely available to everyone. Now for example, after you purchase a laptop or PC, if you want to install Microsoft applications or Microsoft products in that, what you need to do, you need to go to the vendor and ask him to install that. In most cases, along with the laptop and PC, you won't get Microsoft products for free. If you want to use them, you need to go to the vendor and ask him to install, and also you need to pay a particular price for it. But that is known as closed source, But open source means what? That it is freely available to everyone. freely available to everyone means, let me give you a simple example. Now for example, for Python programming we use IDLE editor, or for C programming we use developer C++ editor, or for Java programming we use Eclipse editor. Now if you want to use these editors or download these editors, they are free of cost. Free of cost means what? You need to visit the official website of IDLE, Python or Dev C++, and from there you can download the setup file, and after that you can install that particular editor on your PC or laptop, right? And these are known as open source, that is, these are known as open source technologies or open source softwares or open source editors that are freely available to everyone. But the softwares or editors which are not freely available to everyone, they are known as closed source means those softwares or those editors or those applications which, if you want to install in your PC or laptop, or which you want to use, you need to purchase them or pay a particular price for that. But in the same way, Apache Superset, it is not closed source, it is an open source, that is, it is freely available to everyone. It is suitable for data engineering and big data projects. That is, every one of you must have been heard about big data and Hadoop. What happens in big data and Hadoop? In big data and Hadoop, what they do, that is, data sets of huge size, or you can say that large data sets means data sets which contains which contains more than 5,000 rows or more than 10,000 rows, or consider more than 20,000-30,000 rows. What in that case, big data and Hadoop, these technologies are used for data analysis. What we do, for example, if you are using data science using Python, in data science using Python, using data science using Python, what you do, you also perform data analysis on data sets, right? But in case of large data sets, like data sets which contain more than 5,000 rows or 10,000 rows or 20,000 rows, in that case, if you want your result to be accurate, or if you want your prediction to be inaccurate, in that case we use big data and Hadoop. Then Apache Superset is designed for real-time exploration over massive data sets using Presto, Hive, etc. It is especially useful in startups or organizations favoring open source stacks. And job roles after learning Apache Superset are data engineer, BI developer, that is open source, analytics engineer, etc. Now the next data visualization tool is Google Looker. It is a cloud-native BI tool offering scalable data modeling via LookML. Now, cloud native means what? That whatever you are going to do using Google Looker, it is not going to get stored physically in your system's memory, but it is going to get stored virtually in your system's memory. Okay, first thing about Google Looker is this one, scalable data. Scalable data means what? That Google Looker scales itself. Means what? Now for example, consider you are hosting Amazon website. Consider you are hosting Amazon or Flipkart website using cloud computing. Okay, consider you are hosting Amazon website or Flipkart website using cloud computing. Okay, now on days, I know many of you must be not knowing this thing, so please listen carefully. On some days like Black Friday, or during Diwali festival, or on Independence Day, or on Republic Day, or on those days when multiple offers are available, what happens, that is data traffic on those e-commerce websites increases, and due to which load on the server of that e-commerce application also increases. And in that case, And in that case, since those e-commerce applications or websites are hosted using cloud computing or are deployed using cloud computing, what main feature does cloud computing offer? That is, what cloud computing does is that scales that application or that websites according to traffic. That is, if the load increases on that e-commerce application, it scales it up. Means it increases its capacity, or it makes it workable. Workable means what? That for example, if traffic on a particular e-commerce website increases, then there are chances of server crashing. So scales it up means what? That is, it increases its efficiency. To handle the traffic. Cloud computing increases its efficiency to handle the traffic or to handle the load. And that is in the same way, whenever there is huge traffic or load on the server, cloud computing scales it up. And whenever there is no load, or whenever there is normal days, whenever there is no more traffic or there is medium traffic, in that case, on those days, cloud computing scales down the web application. That is it adjusts or scales means what? It makes it efficient to handle that much load, but it does not. Scales means what? It makes it efficient to handle that much load. But if this scalability option is not available, there are chances of server crashing. Okay, and which is not useful, because if server crashes, no one or not even a single user will be able to use that e-commerce web application. And if such thing happens, then after that, that is, for example, if once server crashes of that website, or on some day server crashes of that website, or if there are any complaints or issues related to that website, after that, later, no user is going to prefer that e-commerce website or that e-commerce application. So that's why I know many of you may not be knowing this thing. So that's why e-commerce websites or e-commerce applications like Amazon, Flipkart, Azure, etc. They use cloud computing to deploy their applications or their e-commerce applications. That is, cloud computing automatically scales up that application when traffic is increased on that website, and cloud computing automatically scales down that application when traffic is increased on that application. Okay, understood? Now the next one is excellent for enterprise grade data governance and team-wide analytics. Next one is integrates well with GCP tools like BigQuery and real-time insights. Integrates well with GCP tools means Google Cloud Platform tools. Okay, Google Cloud Platform is one of the cloud computing service provided by Google. Like Microsoft provides Azure Microsoft provides Azure Cloud Computing Service. After that, Amazon provides Amazon Web Cloud Computing, Amazon Web AWS Cloud Computing Service. In the same way, Google provides Google Cloud Platform Service. Okay, and what Google Looker does is that it integrates well with GCP tools like BigQuery for real-time insights. Okay, then use case of it is that SaaS companies use it to show metrics on user behavior and product adoption. And after completing Google Looker, or after learning Google Looker data visualization tool, user or candidate can apply for specific positions like Looker developer, cloud analyst, analytics engineer, etc. After that, the next slide is about Excel. Okay, the next data visualization tool is Excel. Now Excel is the most commonly tool used in various domains. May it be IT domain, may it be mechanical domain, may it be civil domain, or may it be electrical domain. Excel. I guarantee you Excel is the most commonly used tool or data analytics tool across all the domains, because in school level we learn Excel, no doubt. In school level we learn Excel, but during school level we are not exposed that much to the power and importance of Excel. In school level only basic things are taught to us. In school level only basic things are taught to us. But Excel is more than that basic things. Let me tell you, Excel is more than that basic things. That is in school level what they teach, that how to, for example, how to create tables, how to format the data, okay, how to format the data, or basic things like how to calculate sum, how to calculate average, or how to calculate mean, mode, median. But let me tell you, Excel is more than that. Excel is more than that. Okay. Using Excel, what all we can do? Using Excel, what all we can do? That is, let me tell you one important thing. Using Excel, you can transform data. You can transform data from any file, any type of file. Sorry, using Excel, you can transform data from any type of file. May it be text file, may it be database, may it be a table, or may it be a data existing on any website or any online application. May it be data stored in PDF. May it be data stored in HTML format, or in HTML script, okay, in HTML script or in HTML document. May the data be in any format. Using Excel, what you can do, that transform that data into Excel, okay. May your data be in PDF format, text format, or Word format, or SQL format, or Python format, or Word format, using Excel. Or say that, for example, there is a table which is hosted on a website, or there is a table in the which is a content of a web page, and you want to transform it into your Excel. You can do that also. Using Excel, you can get and transform the data. After that, you can perform analysis on it, like cleaning the data, manipulating the data, or protecting the data. Main important feature is protecting the data. Protecting the data means what? That Excel provides you option of protecting the data. That is, for example, if on a sheet you have created some data, or one sheet contains some important data which is very important, okay, then what you can do, that is protect that sheet. That is, after protecting that sheet, even if any other user without your permission tries to access that data, or tries to modify that data, he will not be able to access or modify that data, since you have protected the sheet. And in that case your data will not be compromised. Your data will not be compromised. Or if anyone knowingly or unknowingly tries to modify that data, or tries to delete it, or anything wrong, if any person with wrong intentions, if tries to manipulate that data or play with that data, he won't be able to do anything, since you have protected that sheet. Okay, so data protection feature is also available in that. Also you can transfer data from one Excel file into another Excel file using move and copy option. You can create multiple sheets. After, you can get data from one source, and use it in Excel. After that, you can visualize data. Like create pie charts, create pivot tables, create bar graphs, or create histograms, etc. Visualize the data. After that, using data, you can also perform multiple operations like cleaning the data and all. After that, using Excel, there are many more important features like aligning the data. After that, you have functions functions like if function, if with and function, if with or function, switch function, choose function, sum if function, count if function. Using all these functions, all these functions, you can perform data analyzation. Okay, data analyzation, or you can analyze the data and predict output or display results according to your requirement. Okay, according to your requirement. Again, let me tell you, like for example, as C programming and C++ programming is the base for any programming language. That is on basis of C programming and C++ programming, you can learn programming languages like Java, Python, C#.NET, etc. In the same way, if anyone or any candidate aspiring to become a data analyst, he first should be familiar with Excel, because Excel is the base of data analyzation. Okay, Excel is the base of data analyzation and data visualization. Without this base, advanced concepts or advanced technologies like Power BI, Tableau, Apache Superset, Google Looker will never be clear to you. First, your base of Excel needs to clear, since Excel provides a variety of opportunities. Like data visualization, data manipulation, getting and transforming data. After that, formatting the data, performing various functions on that, macros. Okay. After that, protecting the data so that no one can tamper your data. Protection of the data is very important. Since after creating the data, if you leave it without any security, and if someone else comes and tampers it, then your hard work of so many hours or so many days or so many months is useless. So the most important feature is of protecting the data, which helps that only that user or owner of that sheet or owner of that data can use it or access it, and no one else can manipulate it. Okay, it is quick for small data sets, ADHOC reporting and calculations. And after learning Excel, you can apply for specific job positions like entry level analyst, reporting specialist, business support analyst, etc. Now the next data analyzation tool or next data analyst and data visualization tool is SQL. It is language for querying relational databases like MySQL, PostgreSQL and SQL Server, vital for data extraction, cleaning, transformation and building data pipelines. It forms the base for nearly all data analytics projects. Job roles are SQL developer, data analyst, database engineer, ETL developer. Now, what is SQL? It's structured query language. In SQL, what we do? We create databases. Okay, we store data in databases. In databases, how we store the data? In the form of tables. Okay, and in tables, how we store the data? In the form of rows and columns. Okay, in SQL, what we do? We store data. That is, all of you must have heard about full stack. There are three main important components of full stack. One is front end, second is intermediate, that is database, and third is back end. Okay, and after integrating all these components together, a single application is designed or a single application has been created. Right? So database is a very important, or you can say that mandatory requirement, which is required while creating software or while creating e-commerce applications. Like some of the examples are Amazon, Ajio, eBay, Flipkart, etc. Okay, now SQL is also very important for data analysis. Like using SQL, what you can do, that is perform multiple input and output operations on your table or on a table stored in a database. Multiple input and output operations means what? You can insert or delete data, you can create tables, you can create databases, you can manipulate data or display data according to a requirement. That is instead of displaying the entire data, you can only display data from a particular column, or you can only display data from a particular row, or you can display data only from some of the few columns or some of the few rows. That is you can manipulate the data according to your own convenience, right? So for that firstly you should be familiar with the basic queries of SQL, like create, insert, update, delete, truncate, rename, etc. Okay, and after that what you can do is that you can perform many advanced operations, or you can preserve your data, like you can provide constraints for it, you can specify constraints for it, or using aggregate functions like count. For example, you can use count function to display total number of rows in your table, or you can, for example, there are also clauses like you can use order by clause to sort particular data or entire data from a table in either ascending or descending order based on one column. After that, using SQL, you can also maintain data integrity. That is now, for example, you all know that in schools, when in school level, or during schools, okay, or when we were in schools, or maybe we be anywhere, that during our college life, or during our school life, or during our school time or college time, every student was assigned a unique roll number, right? That is why every student was assigned a unique roll number, so that student should get identified uniquely. Okay, if for example two students are assigned the same roll number, in that case data integrity is not maintained, since if I call any one of them, if I call any one of the student, then both students are going to be addressed, and in that case data integrity is not maintained. Okay, or for example in a row, or not in a row, in a column, if I want to include only unique values, I can use unique constraint or primary key constraint, and in that case data integrity is maintained. That is as I told you, that in case of student data, each student should be assigned a unique roll number or a unique ID. No two students should be assigned the same ID, because in that case data integrity is not maintained. That is while addressing any issue or while calling any student, we are confused that which student we are calling and which student we are not calling. After that, we have joins in SQL to combine data from two tables as a single, After that, we have aggregate functions. After that we have triggers are stored automatic procedures that get executed after user performs insert, update, or delete operation. Now which trigger gets executed depends on the specific operation which you are going to execute. That is, either you are performing insert operation, update operation, or delete operation. Now let me tell you one important point. Many of you must not be knowing this. Let me tell you one important point, that as I told you that we use constraints to integrate the data. To integrate the data means what? That the data should be inserted according to a specific condition, okay, or the data should follow a specific pattern. Data integrity means what? That the data should follow a specific pattern, or the data should be inserted according to a specified condition, okay, and in that case only the data integrity is going to be maintained. That is, data is going to be inserted accordingly. Now let me tell you one important point related to constraints. That is, all of you know that if you want to insert data, that if you want to add constraints to tables, or add constraint for any table, okay, what you do, you add constraint while creating that table, okay, may it be primary key constraint, foreign key constraint, unique constraint, or not null constraint, any constraint. Okay, but many of you may not be knowing this, that you can add constraints also using alter table statement. Okay, also using alter table statement. All of you know that we use alter table statement to alter the structure of table, whereas we use delete statement to delete the data from the table. Okay, that is first of all, the basic difference between alter table statement and delete statement is that alter table statement affects the structure of the table, whereas delete statement affects the rows of the table. Okay, now coming back to the main point, that is, many of you know that if you want to add a specific if you want to apply a specific constraint to a specific column of a specific table, how you do it while creating the table. But many of you must not be familiar with this point, that after creating the table, if you feel that for this specific column I want to add a specific constraint, then how you can do that, that there is an alternative for that, and that alternative is alter table statement. Using alter table statement also you can add constraints. Okay, you can add constraints. Then there are many minute details. As in every session I tell you that knowing only the basic concepts of a technology is not enough, but along with that knowing the minute details of that technology is also important. Like in SQL, a row is also known as a record, or a column is also known as a field. Okay, a column is also known as a field. After that you can provide default value for any column, etc. So as I told you that not only knowing the basic concepts of any technology is enough, but along with that you should also know the minute details of that technology, and on the basis of that minute details you can do data manipulation or manipulate that technology according to your requirement. Okay, so that's all for today. The remaining data visualization tools I will continue in the next session. Thank you guys for listening to me patiently.